is waiting to speak with us. Tunji, this particular process is a fantastic one. As an observer, tell us what it's been like in Abuja, where you are observing this particular situation.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, it's been all quiet in the main. There have been sporadic reports of INEC officials arriving a little bit too late, but the process in its entirety has actually started. And I think that's the important thing to note, that it might be a couple of hours behind schedule, but it has started and it's moving along swimmingly. Can you hear me?
Well, I'm having a bit of problem to hearing you, because I really didn't hear a thing you said. I think I'm having problems with my connection here. But I'll go with the next question. I hope it hasn't answered, you haven't answered it in your comment. For the card reader, let's go to the Otoka issue. We saw the episode where the president initially had a bit of problem going through the accreditation process. He had to come, and he used the plan B or let's call it the plan C of INEC. The plan B is getting an alternative card reader, which still didn't work for him. So the plan C is the incident form, which he has just used in Otoka Unit 13. What will you be saying? In the places you've been to around Abuja, are there similar cases of people having problems with the card reader?
No, not more than is expected. I don't think so. I think the president's issue is a singular issue in a way in which it's at once symbolic, but it's also ironic because it speaks to the fact that technology sometimes can be tricky. The important thing here is that you should take from his own cue. We have to give Mr. President congratulations for his patience, extraordinary amount of patience and understanding, and due to his advice that any Nigerian willing to vote will be able to vote. And so it's a matter of patience. These things do happen. I don't think that it's happening in high enough incidences to statistically skew the overall outcome of the results. It is technology, it's a slow start, and above all else, it is Nigeria. The important thing is that the process has started, and there might be one or two exceptions, but in the main, we expect it to be a free, fair election as it progresses.
All right, let me just ask you very quickly, Mr. Tunji, about your observation mission that is you are carrying on at the moment. What directly can you tell us you have observed so far, knowing that this is just about 2 minutes past 11:30, and this exercise has gotten underway from 8 o'clock, and yes. It looks like where the president is having his accreditation done, we had just about 14 people out of just over 600 that we're expecting to go through this process today.
I lost you there, but I suspect your question has to do with how the entire process is going to roll out, and using the president's experience in Otueke as an example. Well, if 14 people have gone through and they finally fixed the issue of the card reader, I expect it to accelerate. And sometimes each person goes through the entire process in as little as 30 seconds, maximum 2 minutes. So there's still ample time to be able to accommodate the 500 plus voters lining up. I think the larger issue here is not to now begin to preempt the process. Yes, there can be challenges, but these are singular challenges that do not entirely reflect all the reports we've been getting in. The only reports we get in are the ones that have challenges. I mean, but there are countless thousands upon thousands, perhaps even millions of other people who are going through these processes without any complaint whatsoever. So I think we should all be patient and await INEC's instruction. INEC was very, very adept at responding to the president's own peculiar challenges, and he's filled out the incident form, and he seems quite happy, and the process will go on. At the appropriate time, he will come back and cast his vote, and I'm sure for himself.
Do you feel, for example, that people's patience could be overdrawn?
Oh, absolutely. But Nigerians, this is going to be the longest day for Nigeria, our own longest day. We've waited, 4 years and 6 weeks for this moment. So I don't think that having to wait another couple of hours and, wade through some of the little challenges we have would make any difference. Nigerians are determined to come out to vote, and I don't think these little glitches will in any way deter them from voting today.
We also have the EU observers and other observers, including yourself in your situation room, as you can see from your T-shirt that you're wearing there. Earlier we spoke to Nick as well, he's the Managing Director of the Africa Mission to, of course, see through the Nigeria's process of elections starting today. What's your take on how we have progressed so far?
Well, you have to take a long view of the progression. I mean, the elections have been planned for the last 4 years. And I think we also have to understand that this particular election is an important election for Nigerians for all kinds of reasons. I think we've come to a tipping point issue in the evolution of our democratic experiment. So there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of anxiety, and I think this election can be, how would I describe it? It's a sum of all our fears and the grander sum of all our aspirations. So there's a lot of focus. The other thing that should be noted is that you spoke to the EU representatives. Well, there are literally dozens of other international groups that are here focused tightly on Nigeria. The reason being that this election is not just important for Nigeria, but by extension, Africa, and even more so the world. There are a couple of elections coming down the pike in the next couple of months in West Africa, I think about 4 or 5. And everybody's looking at this as the bellwether for elections in Africa. It is important that Nigeria gets this right. And so there's an extraordinary amount of pressure on INEC, and even more so because of the rising expectations of the voters that this happens. And I'm sure in that cooperative manner that we will all succeed.
Well, Mr. Ladner, very quickly here before we let you go, the security situation you must have observed within the Federal Capital Territory. For other places like in Bayelsa, in Daura, in Katsina State, and even here in Lagos, we have reported that everything is pretty much taken care of. How would you rate that of the FCT at the moment?
Well, it's all quiet in the FCT. I mean, driving here was just, a breeze. Sheon was remarking about how easy it was for him in Lagos. It's the same thing here. The streets are virtually deserted, and there's a strong presence, but it's not overbearing. There's just a sense of calm and anticipation. So I expect this is reflected everywhere else. We got notification from Rivers State that Port Harcourt is calm, that the police are doing excellent work in providing an ambience of security and safety. So I imagine we can extrapolate from that and just have a sense that the police and the armed forces are working cooperatively to secure the physical space so people can come and vote freely without any fear of impediment or assault or any attempt at derailing this process. I think we're all of us Nigerians are really, really wedded to these elections. We understand why and how important it is for us and the future of this great country. So I do not expect anything leading up to the elections. Well, the post-electoral dynamic might be somewhat different, but I'm not a soothsayer. I don't know what's going to happen, but we are all keeping our fingers crossed that it's all going to be equally as peaceful and as safe as it has been so far.
Mr. Ladner, no, I don't think anyone is a soothsayer, but we'd like to thank you so very much for speaking with us live from our Abuja studios. Well, let's quickly take this comment before we come back to everyone. It's coming from Chimeze, our correspondent in Kaduna. I hope pretty much that we'll establish contact with Chimeze. Well, from the information that I gather, accreditation has commenced at most polling units in Kaduna State. Voters trooped out in large numbers as early as 7 a.m. lined up, and they're done with the process in some polling units. And he said, well, they've come to their homes to return by 1 p.m. to cast their votes. There's also security presence in all polling units. No soldier has been seen at any of the polling units, reports Chimeze from Kaduna State, except for police. Residents hope that the peaceful atmosphere will be sustained even after voting. Recall I did say you can also be part, just like myself, Gimbe, Captain Umar Aliyu and GT, be part of this whole discussion, and that is where the eyewitness comes into play. We have also said that you can be part of it. You have the hashtag, you have so many comments, and I say we have been inundated by your mails, your comments, your information, your tweets in this particular election, to the extent that I'm a bit confused. I don't know where to start from, but I'm quite sure there's someone who's not confused because she's really in charge, Enid Thompson. How are you? How has it been collating some of these feeds coming from across the world?
Yes, you can say that again. Really across the world, because we have mails, we have tweets, we have Facebook messages from everywhere you can think of. We're just going to take a few of them here. And more interestingly, we have